Welcome back, folks. Hopefully resolve some of my sound issues that have been plaguing some of you folks not being able to hear what I'm saying over the sound of background noise. I did two things. I turned the background noise down and I plugged in my desktop mic and started using it instead of my headset mic. So hopefully that's better. Appreciate the feedback. We'll try to get some better sound to you guys. The thing I want to do today is we're on Haven right now. I'm going to jump in my buddy's ship here. We're going to fly to Alioth. I want to show you just how the flight stuff works when you're going out atmosphere and through space, and talk a little bit about warping. So we'll do a warp jump and just kind of get you to Alioth, and then I'll end this video. And on the next video, I'll give you a tour of our base before it gets torn down here when beta quits. So let me get on the ship here. Find the door. Here it is. Okay. So you don't have to have the door closed. You can go through space and not have a spacesuit on and it won't kill you. I guess I do have a spacesuit on, but anyway. Alright, folks, we're back and we'll try this again. I just logged right back in, got back in the chair, got back out, didn't crash this time. Don't know why that happened. Gonna hit X twice and turn off that directional stuff. Gonna hit the Alt key. If I have the Alt key engaged here, that's trying to turn the ship, although I'm parked so it can't turn. So I'm gonna hit the Alt key to disengage it so I got free look going on. And then I'm gonna hit V, turn off all the stuff around me so as not to confuse everybody. Let's go to, let me show you how to do coordinates. The best way to do coordinates, if anybody sends you coordinates, is to pull them out of chat. So I'm just going to go to this organization, which I just joined, because that's our old organization. I'm going to put this location in. Here's how you go to a location. Put it into chat, whether it's your local chat or whatever. This is the warp shuttle I'm driving. I'm going to set it as my destination. Boom. It's 15.2 SU away to go to Alioth. Alright, so I'm going to hit G because I've got arch HUD on this craft. And I'm going to kind of point in a direction. Oh, there it is, Alioth in the sky there. I'm going to turn my brake off by hitting left control. And then I'm going to scroll forward until I get my engines all the way up. And we've got the fuel up. It takes a few minutes for them to warm up. Sometimes you can turn the engines up to full before you release your brake and get them warmed up. It's up to you. If you have a ship that can barely get out at those talent points, you may have to go at a very shallow angle to get out and work your way up. Sometimes I have to work my way up to, say, 50%, and then I'll hit Alt-6, which will keep my altitude and let me bring my speed up. Speed gets up high, I'll hit Alt-6 again to turn off the keep altitude, and I'll go up some more and lather, rinse, repeat. If it starts getting down below 400, I kind of hit Alt-6 and let the speed build back up. Oh wow, I'm a flyer. As I go out into space, the space engines will kick on. That's going to be at about 9% atmosphere. If you look up in the top right, we're at 22, 21, 20. So altitude's going up. We're at 3,700 meters. We're into thin air. We're at 8%. Our space engine's kicked on at 9 right there. And they're going to take over, and the Atmo engines will kick off as we get out of atmosphere a little further. The Atmo engines just kicked off. Alright, so what are we going to do here? I'm going to hit Alt-1. Actually, I'm going to hit the map. Let's do this the other way. I'm going to go to the system, and then I'm going to look for Alioth. Okay. Right now, my target is Alioth, but what I want to do is I want to click Alioth, right-click. Come on. And let's try this a little closer here. All right, I'm going to set that as my warp point. I'll notice on the right over there, it says warp drive, planet too close. So what I've got to do is I've got to get far enough away from Haven that I can engage the warp drive. Notice that on the right over there, I'm going to hit the tab key and use my mouse pointer. says I have 105 warp cells slash 1. Okay, 105 is what I have in my container. 1 is what I need to warp that far, because this is a very close warp, so I only need 1 warp cell. If I was going to some of the outer planets, it might be like 32 warp cells. Okay, but we're all good. So how do I get my mouse over there to engage the warp whenever it says I can warp? I just do that. I hit the tab button, and then I can put my mouse over here. This is going to turn white, and this red will go away, and I'll be able to hit the warp key. So let's wait until that happens. Be a little bit... It depends on the planet, the size of the planet, the gravity on how far away you have to be. When you're leaving Alioth, you got to get pretty far out before you can warp. Haven should not be too awful bad. We'll see roughly when that's going to be. I'm not sure. I haven't flown from Haven that much because it's one of the newer moons. So we've got over here. We've got some other moons going on. There's Moon 4 and there's Sanctuary. This is Alioth in front of us, as we said, and of course Haven's right behind us, filling up the view screen. Notice we keep going faster and faster. We're at 4,000 kilometers. Use my mouse. 4,100 kilometers per hour. It's got our height above the planet, 47 kilometers, and no atmosphere. It's percent of atmosphere. We're getting faster and faster. These two numbers are the same. We're at 0.3 G gravity, so I think when we get to like 0.2-ish, it should be when we can warp. But we'll see what that is. So it's kind of a little starscape going on here. Got the sun way over there. Haven's getting smaller and smaller in the rear view mirror. And we can warp now at two gravities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the thrust off. We'll continue to coast. I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to hit warp.
Passengers immobilization starting. Warp sequence initiated.
On our warp. Of course, this is a short one. And boom, it puts us right there.
Warp sequence completed.
So I've still got 2.3
passengers released
where I want to be. So what do I want to do here? I'm going to go ahead and rotate myself to get the planet underneath me just to get my orientation better. When I go back into the atmosphere, if I was to stay here, I would fall into the atmosphere. See, it's pulling me in. It says that I'll fall into the atmosphere in 16, 22 some odd hours. It's not sure yet. But I'm going to go ahead and take the brake off, and I'm just going to go forward. I'm going to try to get kind of around the planet so I can be above where I want to be. If I go straight down to the planet, I have to fly like 2 SU inside the atmosphere, and I can only go like 1,040 or so in the atmosphere, and that's going to keep me slowed down. As long as I'm in space, I can go as fast as I want to, as long as I don't hit the atmosphere going fast. If I do, I'll burn up, destroy the ship, and kill myself. Then I'll have to resurrect and come back. And my only res node, since I didn't turn the one on the ship like an idiot, is there we go. See, that's the smart way. Alright. Some of the elements are colliding. That's just because they've changed the ship designs around. This one will have to get fixed. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of bypassing the planet, but I'm trying not to skim the atmosphere, because if I go into the atmosphere going more than 1,040 or so, depends on the town that you have on your ship, but let's call it 1,050. Then I'm going to start burning up. So I want to try to go into the atmosphere at less than 1,050. I try to go in usually less than 1,000 just to be safe. You can use that X button to see which way you're going. right? Because I can turn my orientation, and guess what? I'm still going in the direction I was going in until I apply a lot of force in the other direction. Go ahead. That tells me where I'll hit if I just keep going like I am. Go up just a little more. Let's see if we can get around the planet here. Get up to about 5 or 6 kilometers per hour, or 5 or 6,000 kilometers per hour, maybe. Unfortunately, the base is around the other side of the planet. So, what do I intend to do here on this video? This video is basically just going to be the flight over, right? How to warp, how to fly the ship in and out of the atmosphere, just a real basic tutorial. I didn't go into any great detail, but hopefully you'll be able to pick up a little bit from it and understand what's going on to some degree. You can get into, if you go into Steam now, they've got their trial account set up, so you can maybe go in and try it out if you don't have, I haven't done it, but it says you can try it out, so you can go maybe try out Dual Universe in Steam right now before it launches, see how it works for you. I'm going to go ahead and shut my engine off and just coast at 6,000 kilometers per hour. Notice my speed's going to keep going up because the planet's gravity is also pulling me. So that's kind of like a freebie, right? So there is some physics here, but the physics are kind of weird. For example, plastic used to be one of the lightest materials, and lithium. And now wood and concrete seem to be the best materials to make a ship out of because they're lighter. So I don't understand those physics, but that's how it is. So the nice thing is you get all kinds of colors and textures of stuff. So, you know, we're going to make the station wagon ship with the simulated wood grain paneling and head off to Wally World. And you think I'm joking, we're actually going to make one at some point, I guarantee you. And hey, we may have it up for sale and you can buy yourself the family roadster and go on a trip of your own throughout the galaxy, and maybe you'll find Wally World somewhere. Maybe we'll name one of our space stations that we set up our stores at Wally World. Who knows? Alright, so you can see we're moving fairly fast because that 2SU or 2 plus SU is now down to less than that. So when it gets down to 50, it's going to turn into kilometers. It'll be like 99 kilometers away when we get below 50. Or 0.5 SU, I mean. So that must mean each SU is 200 kilometers, and that would probably be correct. So I'm going to hit Alt-6. And now my engine's going to try to keep me at the same height above the planet. No, we're going to stop this. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Alt-6. Won't stop. All else fails, get out of the seat. I screwed that one up, sorry. Alright, turning my brake on. Because at some point we coasted to within a little closer distance of the destination. We're within half of SU. So it says I'm going to fall into the atmosphere. And guess what? If I go too fast, it's not going to work out good. So I'm going to slow down. Under 1,000. It says I'm going to fall right down there because I have no thrust at all. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to just keep going forward. But I am going to put my brake on for a little bit here. I'm just going to fall. It's gonna fall. 14 seconds. Keep it under 1,050 by hitting my brake. I'm actually going like almost straight down. I'm just falling. All right. 2 seconds, 1 second. I'm in the atmosphere. All right. So here's the best way to go forward. I'm just gonna hit my brake. Arrest my fall. Got good brakes, so I can do that. And then as soon I'm gonna turn my engine on, take my brake off, and guess what? I can fly. Says I have a stall warning, but I should be good because I'm at 3,200 meters still. All else fails. If you have trouble getting into a planet, as soon as you get in, just hit, if you got Archo, to hit B to turn the brake on. And just let it fall to the ground. As soon as you get to the ground, it'll do a landing. And then you can hit G and take off, and you can fly wherever you need to go. Safest way to land, if you get too low to the ground. Notice I didn't get below, what, 2,500 meters or so. If you get too low to the ground, just hit that B or that G and let it land you. Again, this is with Archo. If you're doing it manually, you're going to have to use the manual controls to brake yourself and then slow yourself down. Use the space bar to use your hovers to when you get close to the ground, the hovers will kick in. But you can't be falling that fast. So if you don't have enough brakes and you fall too fast, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. So, all right. So we're headed over to the, let me turn the stuff back on here. You can see all of these bases down here. And I'm not going to take and show you some of the best bases out there. I'm going to show you my base because I don't want to drag you around all these other people's bases. There's a lot better bases out there. And when I say my base, it's not just my base. I'm in with some other folks. But just so you know, find yourself, if you can, a good organization that can help you out. Even if you don't want to, be a legate or be an active member, just find you an organization that can, if you have a crash, which you will, I still do it, you can call them and say, hey, anybody on that can come bring me some scrap because I crashed my ship and I got no scrap, and I'm 20 kilometers away because that was where my resurrection node was. Can you come help me? And they'll come help you. Random strangers will sometimes come help you too. There's a lot of good people in the game. Should be no worries. And oh, by the way, the stuff we just travel in space, nobody can PvP you there. All this stuff around Alioth and the moons and everything here, and even all the way to Mattis, is PvE. There's no PvP. There's a boundary out there that once you go past it, there's PvP. See, look, there's an abandoned core. A lot of people are abandoning stuff because all this stuff's going to go away as soon as they wipe, so we can do our launch. I'm going to try to stay at a reasonable altitude. If I wanted to hold altitude, I can hit Alt 6, and it will hold the altitude for me exactly where I am. Doesn't mean I can't run into a mountain that pops up in front of me, but I'm high enough now. That's not going to happen. I'm good. Although there are some pretty tall mountains on Alioth. Now, Alioth does have some Tier 2 ore that you can mine with miners, and it has some Tier 2 ore on the ground too. So you'll be able to. There's a big tower over there. Look at all the cores. Man, there's a lot of cores. That thing's huge. Our base is tiny compared to some of the bases in this game. We have not been around nearly as long. There's the janitor's office. A lot of these things are miners. Those are mining platforms over there. A lot of these things around here. Let's look and see. There's some of these tiles you can see. I think behind me there's some mining platforms. See, that was mining station, mining station, mining station. Look at all those different names. So some of the big places, like over here on the right, I'm going to turn it off. You can't really see it. It hasn't rendered in. But some of these big bases also sell stuff. If you look at the map, some of them have a little arm up and a little wave just friendly. Either way. You can set your territory like that. I recommend don't set your territory like that. I'm going to hit Alt 6. Turn off the altitude hold. And I'm going to start going down here. I'm just going to coast in from this distance, and we'll see what happens. I'll take you over to Chimera headquarters. It's right over there on the left, right over there. Take you over there sometime soon and show that to you. They're a good organization for new players. My organization is not going to be taking any new players. We're just a small, tight organization, and we share everything fully. And we don't take any new players into ZVETs. I know, you know, that's how it is. Some of the organizations are like that, but we also belong, all of us also belong to Chimera, which does take new players, and we do help people through that organization. So a lot of people will do that. They'll kind of launder their talents through another organization. And you can see I'm going to hit the top of this. Boom! Ah! My ship. Oh, guess I'm okay. Well, I actually landed straight. How's that? Amazing. Alright, let's get out of here. And down through here. So, this is a hangar that Commander Taco built, one of my buddies. It's actually 2 cores if you look at it. Let's go look at it here. Hang on. I'm going to hit build mode. And you can see that this half of the hangar is one entire large core. It's freaking massive. Freaking massive. I mean, look it up here. Look how big this is. Up here is just the voxel library. So you can come up here and say, oh, I want to make this shape, and you just grab it and go. Okay. The other half of this hangar is its own blueprint and its own. So it's got there's a left and a right. But as you can see, he put it together so you can't even tell. Look at all this. Got all the letters in the voxel libraries. You got, and most of these voxel libraries you'll be able to find for free once people create them. That's our sign. Let me go back down here. Woo. I'm going to take you on a tour of his ship. Anybody recognize this ship? Tell me in the comments if you recognize this ship. He made this ship before the voxel smoothing tool came out and made it all by hand, by scratch, which making curves without that tool is insanely hard. And this is a pretty cool ship. I'm just gonna, oh come on, won't let me, I didn't give myself permissions on this particular tile. I'll have to go in here. But I'll give you a better view of the ship. Fantastic work. He's still working on it, right? He doesn't have everything totally together on it. He's still working on it. Pretty cool stuff, huh? He's good with ships like that. Alright. So, as you can see, there are a lot bigger containers than we've shown so far in the game. All kinds of different ships. This is internal hallways and stuff for ships, for some of the big ships like that one over there. We have our little fish tank here. I don't know what happened. I guess our fish died. We didn't feed them. We've got several containers of stuff here. And the nice thing about these little screens, especially the extra smalls, is you can put them all over and say, okay, this is build box. This is build box 1. What we do is if we're going to build a ship, we just put all the parts inside the container here and we can build our ship. Right? All we got to do is put our blueprint and all the parts we need in there, and then we can just assemble it with the blueprint. So this is our runway out here. I've built a large chunk of this. A lot of these ships here, this is a pocket rocket. It'll go really, really fast. These ships, this is another Commander Taco ship that he built. This is a ship over here that we acquired the blueprint for and then modified heavily. This was going to be a fighter, but we never did finish it. I should say I never did finish it. This was one of my ships. So, still in the progress of being made, and now will never be made. Well, we've got the blueprint. We might make it later. This is one of Commander Taco's heavy haulers or medium haulers. It's got quite a few containers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this side, 5 on the other side. So 10 large, I believe. Let's look. Yeah, 10 large containers hubbed into there. It's a pretty nice ship. And I'm not going to spend too much time going through the rest of this stuff. I just told you I would get you here on this trip, kind of give you a teaser, and we'll go around and look at some of the other ships. Maybe I can get on during the daytime, and we can look at some of the stuff, and we can definitely look at some of these other ships, and we can look at some of these other buildings, and we can look at some of the factory that we have in there, when the extra large container, 144 of them up on top there. We'll look at the whole mess and kind of give you an idea of, you know, just because you're starting out and it's hard and you don't have much, you know, one day you'll have more than this, because we don't really have a lot. This is actually a pretty small scale thing, but the cool thing about this is this was all built by us, hand built, except for those 2 buildings we got from Loaded's building list, and we bought the blueprints from him. Although we heavily modified that building, where we're in the process of rebuilding it whenever we found out that the server was going to wipe, so we quit. So no need to even bother with it. So that's going to be all for today. I want some feedback from you guys, if from you guys and gals, if you can let me know whether or not the sound was okay even when the ship was going and the engines were going. If I need to turn the background down more, I'll turn it down more, but I wanted you to be able to hear and see, you know, as well as see the effects. So got to find that right balance. Just give me some feedback, and if you like the videos, you know, hit that subscribe button. I'm not looking to make this a living or anything, but it's always good to see when people appreciate everything. So thanks a lot. We'll catch y'all later.